For decades, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been at the center of global attention, shaping the lives of millions living in Gaza, the West Bank, and beyond. It is a conflict that is often in the news, yet many people struggle to fully understand its origins, causes, and human impact. From territorial disputes and political struggles to historical grievances and humanitarian crises, this conflict has deep roots that stretch back over a century. Gaza and the West Bank, two key regions at the heart of the struggle, are home to dense populations living under challenging circumstances, where daily life is shaped by tension, checkpoints, and uncertainty. In this video, we aim to take you on a clear and concise journey through the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Focusing on Gaza and the West Bank, we will explore the historical roots that set the stage for decades of tension, the key territorial disputes and settlements that continue to fuel clashes, and the major escalations that have marked the modern era. You will also see the human side of the conflict, including the impact on civilians, daily life, and the efforts made by the international community to find peace. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of how historical events, political decisions, and ongoing tensions intersect to shape the reality on the ground. This is a complex story of politics, territory, and human resilience, and our goal is to present it in a way that is informative, balanced, and easy to follow. The roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict stretch back over a century, with historical, religious, and political dimensions intertwining to create one of the most enduring conflicts in modern history. In the early 20th century, the region of Palestine was under British control following the fall of the Ottoman Empire. During this time, Jewish migration increased due to the Zionist movement, while the Arab population, which had lived there for centuries, grew concerned about land ownership and political representation. Tensions escalated as both communities competed for territory, resources, and political control. The situation intensified after World War II, particularly with the Holocaust prompting further Jewish migration to Palestine. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to create separate Jewish and Arab states, which was accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab leaders. This led to the declaration of the State of Israel in 1948, immediately followed by war between Israel and neighboring Arab countries. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced during this period, an event referred to as the Nakba or catastrophe in Arabic. The historical grievances created during this period continue to influence the conflict today. The early wars and repeated disputes over borders laid the foundation for decades of tension. Understanding this history is essential because it explains why territorial claims, identity, and national aspirations remain at the core of the conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian struggle is not just about politics or land, it is also about the deep-seated emotions, fears, and historical experiences of two peoples, each seeking security, recognition, and self-determination. The Gaza Strip and the West Bank are the two primary territories at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, each with its own political, social, and economic dynamics. The West Bank, a landlocked territory, is home to a majority Palestinian population and is governed partially by the Palestinian Authority, while Israel controls security and settlement areas. Israeli settlements in the West Bank are considered illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this, and they remain a major source of tension. Gaza, on the other hand, is a densely populated coastal enclave controlled by Hamas, an organization designated as a terrorist group by many countries, including Israel and the United States. Gaza has been subjected to blockades and military operations, creating severe economic and humanitarian challenges. These territories are geographically small but politically significant, and control over them has been a constant point of conflict. Checkpoints, walls, and restricted movement affect the daily lives of millions of Palestinians, limiting access to education, healthcare, and employment. The division between Gaza and the West Bank also complicates Palestinian political unity, making peace negotiations more challenging. The geography, population, density, and political governance of these territories create a complex backdrop for understanding the ongoing conflict. By examining Gaza and the West Bank, it becomes clear that territorial disputes are intertwined with political authority, security concerns, and the aspirations of the Palestinian people, all of which fuel tensions with Israel and shape the modern struggle. Modern escalations in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict are marked by recurring cycles of violence, protests, and military interventions. Gaza has witnessed multiple major conflicts, including the wars of 2008, 2009, 2012, 2014, and 2021, each triggered by political tensions, rocket attacks, and retaliatory strikes. These conflicts have resulted in thousands of casualties, widespread destruction of infrastructure, and severe humanitarian crises. In the West Bank, demonstrations, clashes with Israeli security forces, and periodic military raids contribute to ongoing tension. Civilians often bear the brunt of these confrontations, with many losing homes, livelihoods, or family members. Children, women, and the elderly are disproportionately affected, creating long-term social and psychological trauma. The media frequently reports on airstrikes, rocket attacks, and protests. But behind the headlines are millions of people whose daily lives are disrupted by checkpoints, restricted movement, and economic hardship. Despite these challenges, many Palestinian communities continue to organize schools, businesses, and social services, demonstrating resilience in the face of adversity. On the Israeli side, concerns about security, rocket attacks, and terrorism influence political decisions and public sentiment. Understanding the modern phase of the conflict requires recognizing that violence is not random but part of a cycle fueled by historical grievances, territorial disputes, and ongoing political disagreements. Each escalation leaves scars that make reconciliation and peace even more difficult, underscoring the urgent need for solutions that address both security and human rights. Numerous peace efforts have attempted to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, though lasting solutions remain elusive. Key initiatives, such as the Oslo Accords of the 1990s, sought to establish frameworks for negotiation, territorial division, and political recognition. The Camp David talks and other international interventions aimed to bring Israeli and Palestinian leaders together to resolve core issues such as borders, refugees, and the status of Jerusalem. International organizations, including the United Nations, the European Union, and the United States, have played mediating roles, often proposing ceasefires or frameworks for peace. Despite these efforts, challenges remain significant. Settlement expansion in the West Bank, political divisions between Palestinian factions, and mutual distrust between Israeli and Palestinian leaders undermine negotiation efforts. Periodic violence and retaliatory attacks erode confidence in peace talks and make compromise politically risky. While some agreements have temporarily reduced tensions, they have often failed to address the root causes of the conflict fully. Understanding these peace efforts is essential because they highlight both the willingness and limitations of international diplomacy. They also demonstrate that resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just a local challenge but a global concern with geopolitical, humanitarian, and cultural implications. The complexity of these peace initiatives underscores why decades of negotiations have yet to achieve a durable resolution and why both sides continue to live under uncertainty and tension. The current situation in Gaza and the West Bank reflects the ongoing complexity of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with daily life deeply affected by political and military realities. In Gaza, residents face blockades, limited access to clean water, electricity shortages, and economic challenges, all compounded by periodic escalations and violence. In the West Bank, checkpoints, security operations, and settlement expansions shape the mobility, education, and economic opportunities of Palestinians. Civilians in both territories live under constant uncertainty, balancing the need for safety with a desire for normalcy. At the same time, international organizations and aid agencies work to provide relief, medical care, and education to affected communities. Political tensions remain high, and both Israeli and Palestinian leadership face internal and external pressures that complicate the possibility of compromise. Media coverage and global attention often focus on escalations, but the everyday resilience of communities is a significant aspect of the conflict. The human impact, psychological trauma, disrupted schooling, and economic hardship underscores the urgent need for sustainable solutions that prioritize both security and human rights. The ongoing situation demonstrates that while the historical and political roots of the conflict are complex, its consequences are real, affecting millions of lives every day. Understanding the current dynamics in Gaza and the West Bank is key to grasping the human, social, and political dimensions of one of the world's longest-running conflicts. As we come to the end of this overview, it becomes clear that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just a political struggle, but a deeply human story affecting millions of lives every day. From the historical events that shaped the region to the modern tensions in Gaza and the West Bank, the conflict has left scars that span generations. Civilians on both sides face daily challenges, displacement, insecurity, and uncertainty, yet communities continue to live, work, and raise families despite the hardships. While decades of negotiations, peace talks, and international interventions have sought to resolve the conflict, a lasting solution remains elusive. The ongoing cycle of tension, violence, and retaliation reminds us that understanding this conflict requires more than headlines. It requires empathy, awareness, and recognition of the human cost. By looking at the history, the territories, the modern conflicts, and the efforts toward peace, we can better grasp the complexity and urgency of the situation. The story of Gaza and the West Bank serves as a powerful reminder that behind every political dispute are real people striving for safety, dignity, and a better future. Educating ourselves about the conflict is a step toward awareness and compassion, which are essential for meaningful change. If you found this video informative and want to understand more about global conflicts and their human impact, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of world events. Understanding the past and present is the first step toward hope for the future.